Now, authorities have visited various initiation schools throughout the Eastern Cape. Over 40,000 initiates are expected to undergo the ritual this season. The practice is sometimes synonymous with the deaths of some of the young boys. And to address this, the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs checked the measures in place to avoid more deaths. Portfolio Chairperson Fikile Xasa joins us now for more. Thank you so much for your time, Fikile. We do appreciate it. Perhaps let's just start off with your assessment. How many of these schools did you visit and what did you find?
Our findings are that we visited a number of schools to start with. We started in Alfred Nzo on the 4th, and we ended up in Buffalo City today on the 8th. Our findings are that generally in most of the initiation schools, especially in the former Transkei area around OR Tambo, they are illegal. What causes them to be illegal? It's underage in terms of the law. Our law says 16 years and above, but especially in Port St. John's, underage. And that's one. Number two, we experienced a lot of schools whose traditional surgeons were not registered. And at times they ran away on our arrival together with the boys. So that was a problem. The biggest problem is illegal schools. And what was bad was that it was the number of illegal schools were more than the legal ones. So that was the first finding. Of course, one of the concerns that we had was the previous number of boys who passed away in the previous season, about 40 of them. But on our arrival, we already knew that 8 boys had already passed on around OR Tambo. If we can be specific, it was in Mhlonhlo municipality where we lost 6 boys. 2 boys in King Sabata Dalinye and 1 boy in Nusa Hill. So the number of deaths, illegal schools, and number 2, our general finding is that the law itself that we were actually following up on is not really understood by everybody. The new law that became effective on the 1st of September 2021, Customary Initiation Act. So that's another finding. Another finding is that the structures that have been established were also not very sure as to how to go about enforcing the law. So those were the most critical areas. There are areas where there's good practice. In the same areas where we had boys who passed on in Mhlonhlo, we also saw good examples. Actually, it is where traditional leaders are very active, where you have these good practices. We also had the same in KSD, where 2 boys were lost. There are some explanations that get given about some of the incidents that we are talking about. But generally, we are happy in that we have been able to meet the structures that are prescribed in terms of the law. First, the National Initiation Coordinating Oversight Committee, which was established by the minister in October 2021. We were together with them. Yes.
Sorry, I don't mean to interject, Fikile, but maybe just I'm a little concerned because the picture that you're painting, it seems as though there are quite alarming issues that you have picked up. Have you engaged with the leaders and those in charge of these schools that these are worrying issues that you've picked up and worrying trends, for example, underage and the fact that they don't really understand the law?
Yes, definitely. When I was counting the structures, I was coming to what we have resolved must be done. The first thing is that the National Initiation Oversight Committee of the minister is going to report to the minister about some of the findings, and we expect them to develop a plan to respond to some of these challenges. In the end, they will have to table that report to the portfolio committee. At the level of the province, the Provincial Initiation Coordinating Committee needs to be first in the Eastern Cape. We need to harmonize the structure itself because they established their committee in terms of their previous provincial act. So we'll need to harmonize that. And specifically, that committee has got a big role to play insofar as illegal schools are concerned. We were saying to them, it should take a day to deal with an illegal school. In other words, we should not have received reports of illegal schools. We should have received such reports indicating action that has been taken in terms of what the law prescribes. So we are expecting them within 5 days to deal with the issue of illegal schools.
So how many, sorry, I'm slightly confused. How many illegal schools upon your visit and inspection did you pick up?
With the OR Tambo, we indicated earlier that it was 68. Now in Buffalo City, we discovered one in a place called Cobus. So by implication, 69. And we are giving the Provincial Initiating Committee, Coordinating Committee 5 days to deal with that. In terms of the law, immediately they become aware there should be action immediately. So, of course, that action has been taken in that the police were together with us. Everywhere we went, all illegal schools cases were opened. And what is expected now, which we are actually also going to appeal to the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, is to make sure that cases that emanate from this are prioritized.
Okay. Fikile, just for perspective and understanding, you're saying there are 69 illegal schools that you have been able to pick up during your visit and inspection. Are these schools going to be allowed to continue given the fact that there's a risk should these young boys go to these initiation schools? And do you have the power to say these schools cannot operate until they become legal?
The Provincial Initiation Coordinating Committee has powers in terms of the law to close the schools immediately. That instruction has been given already. In other words, we didn't go to 69 schools. This was a report that was coming from the Provincial Initiation Coordinating Committee. Then we visited some, but the instruction is clear, is that the law must be implemented immediately.
Okay, got you. Okay, we'll definitely be...
And that implies closing the schools.
So those schools have now been closed?
That means that's the assumption, but we are saying anything beyond 5 days will not be accepted, and they would expect, I wouldn't say action now, but the committees themselves, the first one, the National Initiation Oversight Committee reports to the minister. So we expect the minister to agree with us. Actually, we agreed with the NIOC that illegal schools should have been closed the day they were noted. And by implication, we are saying all of us going back to the drawing board, illegal schools must be closed. Boys from such schools must be taken to legal schools. And as we were visiting, we were together with the various teams and the various structures that I'm talking about.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much for your insights, and we wish you all the best. I think it's an important one, and hopefully those ones that are operating illegally will sort themselves out.